I have a, you know, it's fairly obvious if you look at my resume. Who I've worked with the most is probably Ron Howard, and Ron is, you know, his strengths are, you know, he's very he's a very day-to-day worker. He works hard. He understands the process. Obviously, he's been in it for a long time, and above all else, he kind of understands what everyone else does. And more than anything else, I don't think people give him enough credit for being as creatively and intuitive. And I think he's very sharp. Just in conversation with him, if you were to speak with him, you realize that he has a larger vocabulary than most people give him credit for. And I think because he's able to communicate effectively, he's able to kind of give actors, you know, a lot of leeway, and they feel comfortable with him, and they sort of identify with him. It's like the coach who played baseball, you know, is sorry about these sports analogies, but the players tend to identify with that individual because they feel that he or she has been through the trenches, you know. And I think a lot of actors feel that way with Ron. He's been through the trenches. He gets where I'm coming from. And some of them don't necessarily always agree with him, but it's interesting to see how he just goes right back in there and gives them his notes, even though the tension is on the set, and you can feel like that actor is going to jump and go to his trailer any second. And then, you know, Ron just gets in there and he says a little thing in their ear, and they may be quick or sharp at him, but eventually they come down to his, you know, to trying out what he what he asked them to do. And it's a wonderful thing. It happens day in and day out with him. And I just feel that, you know, that as a director, he takes care of his responsibility, and I can take care of my responsibility, and the twain, you know, will be very interactive and it'll work. And he's very calm, keeps a very collective head, and I think when he raises his voice, all of a sudden the crew takes notice, like, uh-oh. It's like yelling, you know, when his decibel level goes up to about 10 beats. And it doesn't happen very often. But every day he comes prepared. He has a shot list. He's ready to go. There's no qualms. He takes advantage of rehearsals. He's just very, very prepared. And I think as a filmmaker, he's probably one of the best if you can actually duplicate his particular personality. I mean, I don't know if you ever would be able to duplicate his personality, but just to duplicate his process. And it can be written in a book very easily, the way he goes from day one of a film to the last day. But at the same time, he's intuitive. He's very mild-mannered, and he's very he incorporates everyone into the film process. So I think obviously he's one of my favorite directors to have worked with. I also like, you know, on the other hand, I like Jim Brooks too. You know, he's very talented, quick-witted, probably the best writer I've ever seen in my entire career. Can write something, you know, within about 5 or 10 minutes, and it's brilliant. It's just unbelievable. But he has a personality. He's a little bit more, you know, of the moment, but he sort of gets the little nuances that people have. But I get along with him. Not very many. Others don't. So, but you know, again, two different personalities, two different ways of approaching it, but brilliant end result.